Curiosity. What are you so curious about? Everything, Mr. Curiosity.
Alrighty, folks, Mr. Curiosity, and it is Mr. Curiosity. I'm all alone except for Shawn here, and you're working the technical stuff. I mean, where is everybody?
I don't know. Maybe they forgot.
No, see,
The
folks,
weather's nice. They took off for the weekend.
See, folks, this is my pain. And if you watch on YouTube, you'll see empty seats, Shawn and me, right here. And I said 5-10 minutes ago, oh, Mindi, Nikki, Jon, it's time. You know what I hear from Nikki? Or Mindi? She's saying, ooh, I forgot. Ooh, I forgot. This is our world, Shawn.
I feel bad that I'm not good enough. Just a one-on-one. The one-on-one everybody's been waiting for.
Okay, you're right. No, you're right. Have a seat.
One-on-one interview.
Screw them. All right, Shawn. Shawn, what is your background? Where did you start? Let's go back, Shawn. Before we answer these questions, keep them coming, by the way. Brownbag at wnep.com. Remember, this is only as good, interesting, and fun as the people make it. So brownbag at wnep.com. Ask us, Shawn, these questions could be relationship advice, gossip here at Newswatch 16, corporate structure dynamics, weather science questions. We'll take anything.
You name it. We'll answer it.
Name it. All right,
we'll give it our best shot.
All right. So, you want to do a one-on-one until they get here. This is,
Deep dive, Joe.
Deep dive. All right. So you were born when?
I was born April 17th, 1978, in Binghamton, New York.
Whoa, I didn't know about the Bingham.
At Lourdes Hospital.
But back up, because you said April 17th.
Yeah.
So you just had a birthday, and not only you just told me moments ago it's your anniversary. Is that why you got married in April too? Because it's a big.
It's exactly 10 days after my birthday, so I'll never forget.
I'm sure it's not about forgetting, but did you say I want to get married because my existence on planet Earth is tied to us joining legally together, and I want April to be my month?
No. All about me. April's all about it. No, April's a nice month. The weather tends to be better, less chance of, maybe some rain, and it was a beautiful day. So
it's the end of the torturous time and the beginning of the good time. So it's a rebirth, and it's a rebirth of your life and your love and your commitment.
Yeah, that's exactly why we 100% why we planned it. And it was one of 2 available weekends at the venue we were.
There it is. That's what it always comes down to, just how the best deal you can get for your wedding. As I stir up the questions, I don't think we're ready for this yet. So you're born in Binghamton.
Yep.
And because you're a Susquehanna County guy, and that's the nearest hospital.
I mean, there's a hospital in Susquehanna.
Is there?
Barnes-Cason.
Is it like the environment?
That's where my sister was born.
I would picture a hospital in Susquehanna County like the manger Jesus was born in. Like there's some animals, there's some sheep, there's some hay.
Yeah, it's like it's a combination human/animal hospital. It's both.
No, but I just picture. I don't know.
I would say it's a pretty decent hospital.
Oh, okay,
for being in a rural community, it was a good sized hospital.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's say you needed major surgery. I don't know. You have you need your arm amputated.
I mean, I guess if I needed my arm amputated, I'd go to whatever hospital I could. I mean, if that's an emergency is an emergency. If I had like a pre-planned,
God forbid,
major heart surgery,
let's say that,
I might plan it somewhere else.
No, okay,
I don't know. They may have a really great. Yeah. What are they? Cardiothoracic surgeons?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. So to the cardiologist,
I'm not familiar with the doctors. The last time I was in that hospital, I remember it was friends of mine whose mother worked at the hospital, and we're just like visiting her.
Okay.
We're sitting in the waiting room of the office she worked in, and there's this little kid sitting there across from us just staring at us, and his like nose has this huge like bump on like by the nostril, and like in a like clogged nose. We're like, what happened? He's like, I have a bee in my nose. He sniffed a flower and a bee went up his nose.
So the bee goes in the nostril, bites him internally.
It's still in there. And he said, I have a bee in my nose. And then we went on our way. We're like, all right, good luck with that.
You see, folks,
so maybe the last time I was there.
If you need good care, there's nothing wrong with your local hospital.
Absolutely not.
The thing is,
it's good to have. Hey,
do you think that stereotype is accurate? Like anyone, like God forbid, I need heart surgery. Who expected this? I'm going to Philly. That's where the best doctors are. Like you wonder, does that mean small towns can't have the most brilliant, skilled people?
That's what I'm saying. They may have. I'm sure they have very adequate doctors that can handle whatever.
It's terrible.
I mean,
Or do we rank doctors by the population and economic dynamics of where they choose to work? That's horrible.
I think it's just that. I don't know. Maybe it is that kind of a stereotype or a fear that, a smaller hospital may not have the capabilities of a larger hospital, but,
Are the best meteorologists in the big cities? Local boy like me can't be considered a thorough, engaging, knowledgeable meteorologist because I'm just a small towner?
maybe.
Do I have to go to Philly? Do I have to go to New York to prove myself? Do I have to be?
I would love to see you on like network, not morning, like
I couldn't do
severe
that.
weather coverage.
I couldn't do that because it's all so fake. I'm here to say right now.
Why is this guy goofing around when there's like an?
I'd want to goof around, yeah, and then be.
No more goofing around, Snedeker. Get serious.
Start wearing pants.
Start wearing pants. No more cracks. There's hundreds of millions of people in the path of the storm, and you're shooting off smoke bombs.
So it wouldn't work.
No.
All right, so maybe it is going to be you and me. Now, where are these guys?
Where's everybody? Can you text somebody? I left my phone's over there.
Yeah, but we're doing this now. You're saying, could we text somebody? You want me to run out and get them?
No,
or you
do
want
it. If you want to keep going, you got more questions?
Yeah, let's start a question. You know what? I'm not going to.
That's it. That's all you wanted to know. When
yes.
I was born. That's it. No, that's it. I got it. All right. When and where I was born. Good enough. Good enough. We'll keep it real surface level, Joe.
No, but when
this is your chance to ask the tough questions. And you're like, yeah, good enough.
He was born in Binghamton. That's all I need to know.
Boring movie.
No, but I hate to say this, Shawn.
No, okay.
I hate to say this, but people have an interest in the people they see on the air.
Oh, absolutely.
So a guy who's behind the scenes, you are as much as worth and dynamic as them, but yet people can't relate, maybe.
The information they just received about me is probably all they ever wanted to know.
Where was he born?
Right now, they're already contemplating just leaving this podcast.
No, they're not. He was born in a manger.
Stick around. Let's make this one the best.
This is going to be the best
ever.
one. Here
Tell
you go.
all your friends about it. Download it. Tell everyone to download it just so I can rub it in everyone's face.
Who needs
My
Mindy?
episode was the episode.
Yes. Who needs John? Who needs Mindy? Who needs that other girl, Nikki?
Make it
Here
happen.
we go. This is from Suzanne Jarrett. So you may not answer this, but was there a falling out with Rob Rave? WNEP landscaping was always done by Rave, and now it's Kurt with some company called Atlas. What gives? Thank you, Suzanne. Well, Shawn. Well,
I'm glad I get to be the one that.
Well. How do we even get into this?
I don't even know. I
kind of know. So when you go through a company, thinking of hospitals, you know how hospitals go. Hospitals are owned by, it's a guy singer, it's a big corporate entity, and things change. See how I made the relationship between you and your hospital? Yeah. So we're a corporate entity. We're owned by different organizations, different corporations. We have different general managers that roll in and roll out. And here, the ham and eggers like me and you, we grind out our job every day. So whatever these people decide in those dark rooms down the hall, I don't know.
Right.
But there was no like anger or resentment or Rob Rave, he's done. I don't like his beard. But I don't know. Was it a financial decision? I think I'm pretty sure about this, that Rob Rave used to do what's called a trade. So he would come here in the backyard and he would do all of these great landscaping, plantings and setups.
Maintenance and all that kind of stuff.
He used to come in once a week, even and be a guest with Tom Clark, if you remember back then. Or once a month, maybe. And in exchange, guess what we would do for him?
We get commercials.
He'd get commercials and advertising. Right. So I think that broke down after a while. Why? I don't know. It's pricing, exchange, who knows? But anyway, then Rob just moved on and our company got someone new. But Rob still comes here once a month. I'm sorry, not once a month. Once a year. Puts up the Christmas tree. Isn't that a great episode?
Yeah.
And he's still a very good friend of mine. I did not know Rob before this whole thing. We became friends in doing this. What do you think?
Out of fear of getting in trouble, not from the station, but from Rob Rave, I want to say that tree is bodacious.
See, I'm texting these.
He's going to send me a cease and desist. Stop using my word. While you text them, I'm going to go grab my tablet. Well, no,
You're leaving me all alone here.
I can't switch the camera. I left it over there because I didn't think I'd be a guest. Hold on.
I just texted. See, folks, this will be the best episode because it's so raw and honest. When those idiots get here, we can pick on them. Where were you? We said 10 o'clock Friday. What, are you too busy for this? And now poor Shawn has to run around and do 10 different jobs.
This has very first podcast ever written all over it. We're like 200 and some in, and it's like the very first one we've ever done.
It'd be like, look at how raw they were. They didn't even have guests. It was just two guys sitting around waiting.
They're on the same side of the table.
They're on the same.
Why isn't he on the other side?
Wait, this brings up a whole new subject. Forget about the questions. If you go to a restaurant and it's a booth like this.
Never same side.
All right. So, folks, if you're not watching, you're just listening. We're at a table. What looks like a restaurant table with 4 chairs. Shawn and I are on the same side because Mindy and Jon are usually on the other side. We're waiting for them.
Right.
So you would never do that?
No, I can't do same side.
What about with your wife? Do you do same side?
No, and she wouldn't do it either.
So you don't do same side with anybody?
We are not same side people.
Get out.
No. Because like we're doing here, we're sitting and we're like turning and
we have to
each other
turn and then I have to diss the camera. You're right.
If I'm over there, we can face each other and we can stare into each other's eyes.
Gaze into
lovingly,
each other's eyes. So you would never do so. What about on your anniversary?
No. Especially not on my anniversary.
Well, what about you're born in Binghamton? Then what happens?
And then I go home. My parents take me home from the hospital. They take me home to Susquehanna from the hospital. And where I grow up and spend my formative years.
Do they start burping you?
I
and
go
stuff?
to East Stroudsburg University.
Oh, I know you skipped a lot.
What?
No.
No.
So you go to public school in Susquehanna.
Yep.
Graduate.
Yeah, did the sports, did the,
Girlfriends.
The schools. Yep. And went to college.
You still missed a lot there. What about your first car? What was that? What?
My first car was I drove like the whatever was like the junkier of the cars my parents had.
Oh, okay. So
the first car I was driving around was what's it? It was a minivan. It was like a
minivan.
Plymouth. Was it like a Dodge Caravan kind of thing?
Okay,
with like
all right.
the wood grain on the side.
Gotcha.
But it was great because you could pack like 10 friends in there.
Now, I'm assuming because you're married now, I'm assuming you're heterosexual. Your first date in high school, your first girlfriend, you still know her? You see her? Is she?
I mean, I
married her.
I still know her. Yeah.
Okay,
I
all right.
see her. She doesn't live locally, so.
No, nice girl. What does she do now? Do you think she thinks, I wish I nabbed him. I wish I had him as my husband.
Probably not.
No?
No.
You wish? Yeah.
No.
No. Okay. All right. So then you graduate. You're now in college. Big shot. East Stroudsburg.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. It was East Stroudsburg or Florida State.
Oh.
And I even then knew if I went to Florida State, the likelihood of me graduating on time was going to be slim to none.
Why? No,
it was a huge party school at the time.
Oh, okay. I see. Not
Which
because
is
of
part
your
of the reason I
intellectual
applied.
capabilities.
No, not because I had a great program or anything.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was a big party school.
So I didn't know all this, folks. See, you work with someone. If you're listening to this, think about this. The people you work with, you don't know like where they went to college a lot of times, what they were like in high school. We see each other for years, and I never. And I really don't care, though. That's the thing.
And I don't care that you don't care. That's the even better part. The fact that you never asked me never bothered me. The fact that we just have to fill time is the whole reason I'm okay
Oh,
with
no,
answering
I do
questions.
kind of care. I'm still curious. I can't picture a hospital in Susquehanna. Yeah. Old building? Windows? Elevator?
Well, yeah, it has windows. Yeah.
Elevator?
Yeah. There's
Modern elevator.
Oh, yeah, modern elevator. Yeah.
No hay. There's beds.
No, there's legit beds. Yeah.
Cafeteria?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Oh, yeah.
And then you graduate college
shebang.
and you're 22 years old. You start interning here.
Nope.
Oh,
never interned here. Nope. I interned in Binghamton at the Fox station in Binghamton. And then.
So Fox Binghamton. Now, is that not 12, right?
No, it's 40. Fox 40. Fox 40.
This brings up a new subject. You Northern Tier County guys, Binghamton is almost like your place, right?
I mean, growing up, I don't know if it's still the case, but we got both the Scranton channels and the Binghamton channels. I mean, we went to Binghamton more than we ever went to Scranton, like shopping and things like that.
Isn't that something? Yeah. Because I grew up just north of Carbondale, so we would go to Binghamton, which was like a 45, 50-minute drive, or we can go all the way to Wilkes-Barre, which was kind of like a 45-minute drive. It's like almost right in the middle. Like,
Yeah, it's only like 20 minutes to get to whatever.
But mentally, you think New York, far away.
It's the last exit in Pennsylvania when you're on 81 North.
All right, watch this. I'm sick of these two now because I just sent them text and still nothing. I'm going to call them.
I think they're mad.
Something's going on here, folks. Let's do a live call with John Meyer. Like, what would they be doing? This is what
they're
fries
mad we
my
started
hand.
without them.
Maybe they're plotting against us, and they're doing a coup. Maybe they have their separate podcast going.
Oh, maybe at the same time.
Now look they're not even answering the phone now. This is serious. Maybe they're being reprimanded, and they're in the principal's office. Look at unbelievable.
Hi, this is John Meyer. Leave a message and I'll call you back.
I doubt it.
Well, let's try Mindi
Not
now.
likely.
Here we go. Folks, so I don't know. I really do think this is the most compelling podcast ever. Here we go. So now it's Mindy's turn. Like, what? Like, how could they not have their phones on them, not answer text, not show up at 10 o'clock, which we said is time to come? Something is up here, Shawn. Could we be the last two people on Earth and the entire... we're trapped in this podcast studio and the world just ended? And we're like Will Smith?
Maybe.
What was that movie? I Am...
Yeah, something like
It.
that.
Your call has been forwarded to
Wow.
voicemail.
You know what?
Ghosted.
Is not available. At the tone.
It's your turn. Pick a question. Folks, we're still going to answer your questions. You know why? Because I care. And those two or three don't. Okay? So, Shawn and I, let us do the duties here.
This is perfect for me, actually.
Oh, so it's very, very appropriate.
I watch WNEP through the app, even though I hate commercials. Why are the commercials repeated daily, weekly, monthly? A lot of times they're back to back. Thank God, GAWD, the Jonathan's Larson's commercial is not being aired that I have noticed. Streaming's different. It's, there's ads that just pop in there from, wherever people buy ad time for like streaming.
Okay.
And, our salespeople sell local commercials that show up in there. And then obviously, you just don't have enough commercials to fill all the space. So they have like kind of backfill commercials that sort of plop in there and fill the time that other people have purchased through whatever services.
You can see why people are confused. Because here's what we do as a TV station. We say, watch WNEP. So watch us over the air or cable like it's been for decades. Or stream us. And people, even young people, are confused by that term. So if you say stream us, that means on your smart TV, you download the WNEP app. It's free.
It is.
And then you can watch us all day long, 24 hours.
Correct.
And when news is live, we're live on that.
Yes.
But when it's not live, we have things like this.
We'll have replays, or we have Mr. Curiosity
Podcast.
Podcast. We actually have like original content, the top secret forecast that you do that's only on Plus.
Every morning at like what, 9 o'clock?
8:55, just before 9 o'clock.
It's a 10-minute long forecast, and it's got details that you can't get anywhere else. So stream WNEP, but it's on your TV for free. Download the app.
We have Home and Backyard Cookbook.
That's
Home all
and Backyard.
recipes. We're about to start a gardening show that's
all
just
this on the
Plus.
streaming channel.
And even better yet, Sunday nights at 6:30, it's original day and time, POL Classics. Classic episodes of POL.
So it's almost like if those folks who missed Don Jacobs, he's gone. I used to love watching 6:30. Now you can still do that.
Yep.
Go on your smart TV, download the
WNEP
app.
Plus.
It's free, and then at 6:30, relive your past.
And it's all available on demand. You can search for shows, and we have newscasts. If you missed the newscast, you can watch
See, folks,
the newscast
we're
from
here for
yesterday
you.
if you need to. So
I'm confused about this, and this you're going to laugh at me. You're going to say, what an idiot. Is what you put on your phone app the same exact thing that's airing on streaming?
no,
So that's confusing for people. So
not
if I want to
always.
stream
So
on my phone on the app, it's going to be different than what's on my smart TV?
what's streaming live? Like if you go in the app and you hit watch live,
Yeah.
whatever you're seeing live on there is what you would see live on Plus. You just don't have the capabilities of watching anything on demand. So, your kid was on the noon.
Yeah.
And it's 5 o'clock.
You
at
wanna
night.
watch 'em.
You can't go in the app and easily find that noon show.
But you can
if
do
you
it
go
on your smart
Plus,
TV?
you go to news and it has past newscasts and 24 hours worth of newscasts are available on demand on there. So you can click
that,
the noon and watch it all.
That is a little confusing. And to add more to the confusing, and then we have our digital station, 16.2. But
Right.
what's that?
That's completely separate. Yeah, that's just on air. And
There's no
on
news-
cable. I don't, maybe satellite carries it, but
Are there any newscasts on there? Or is it just
yeah,
all
the
like-
10 o'clock.
Just
Our
the
10 o'clock news is on there.
See,
Yeah.
and you wonder why people are confused. Though one newscast on our digital station.
On WNEP2, the 10 o'clock news.
That's it.
Sometimes we'll like simulcast, or a lot of times during football season, we might have our 6 and 7 o'clock news on WNEP2
Gotcha.
because we're constantly preempted by sports.
So this is confusing, though. So if you put on,
But it's always, all this stuff is always on, the 10 o'clock is on WNEP Plus. If you go to WNEP Plus, it's like the one place you'll see everything in one place.
So, folks, just go on your smart TV and
Roku,
download
Fire
the
TV,
Fire
Apple
TV,
TV, all the
Roku.
things. It
Just
doesn't
download
matter.
the app. Everything's free. You'll no longer, and then cut your cable.
Yeah, if you haven't
Cut
already.
your
There's
cable.
a lot of
It's
people
all
in the area.
free.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. All right. Somehow this thing popped out, and I never got to it. So, will humanity ever develop the technology to explore deeper into space, submerge into the lowest depths of the ocean, or visit the core of the Earth? So much curiosity. Mike from Hanover Township.
Glad I didn't get that one.
I got the answers to all these. So, explore deeper into space, definitely. I mean, Voyager 1 and 2, which were released in the 1970s, that's leaving our solar system. That's going to move on forever and ever and ever. There's nothing to stop it. Once you put something in motion in space, these probes keep going. But
Until
the
it
problem
hits
is,
something.
well, yeah. The problem is between our star and solar system and the next star, there's 4 light years of space, which means there's nothing there.
No, like
Nothing.
meteors or asteroids.
Well,
or
maybe
any of
just
that
some
kind of stuff?
interstellar dust, but
Some other planets trash
no,
floating our way.
Unlikely. So if you travel at the speed of light, which you can't, it would take 4 years just to leave our solar system. These things are only traveling at tens of thousands of miles an hour. It's going to take them hundreds of thousands of years even to get to the next star. So there's a lot of space in space, and we're not going to discover much until we learn how to travel at the speed of light, which can't happen anyway. But so trust me, that's
You
not
think that
happening.
would
All
have
right.
some negative impacts on your body?
Yeah, you become infinitely massive, and then you convert yourself to energy, so you can't travel at the speed of light. All right, submerged to the lowest depths of the ocean. What about that, Shawn? We've already done that.
Yeah. I mean,
The deepest
completely.
part is the Marianas Trench. We've been to the bottom. So we've explored the oceans now.
Nailed it.
To great
Are
resolution.
they talking about humans, though, or just in general?
Humans have been to the bottom of the deepest ocean.
All the way to the bottom?
All the way to the bottom.
Humans have?
Yeah,
Really?
humans have. So it's dark, it's cold, it's dimly lit when you have your lights on these
You have those
submersibles.
crazy fish with the little light bulb
That's right.
sticking out
We've
of
been
their
there.
head. Yeah.
The last one is never, ever going to happen. We're not going to go to the core of the Earth.
I mean, I've seen
The
the movie.
core of the Earth.
I
Bruce
saw
Willis.
that documentary, The Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. So the Earth is 8,000 miles across. Picture that. 8,000 miles across. Or 4,000 miles to the center. How far do you think we have gone down? In your great East Stroudsburg wisdom. The deepest a human has gone into the Earth so far.
This is including the ocean. Would this include the bottom of the ocean, though? Yeah. 'cause
If you want to
technically,
include that, I
right?
mean, well, I'm talking about like
I don't know,
not
20
counting
miles?
water. I'm counting into the crust. Like
20 miles? 10 miles?
7.
7.
And the Russians have their Kola borehole. So we have not even gone 10 miles down into the crust of the Earth. The Earth is 4,000 miles to the center. Once you get a few miles in, 5, 10, 15, it's hot.
I was going to say,
it's
when
hot
is it
rock.
so hot you're just
Yeah,
gonna
so now we're
vaporize?
thousands of degrees. And what folks don't realize, in the center of the Earth, there's a ball as big as the moon of metal. That's it. Nickel and iron. That's 10,000 degrees. So you couldn't even build something to plow through that, never mind put a human into that. So, and it's dense as heck. So humans will never get to the center of the Earth. There's nothing there but hot, dense rock and metal. You couldn't even do that. But space, maybe. And the ocean we've done. So hope that answered that. Now, should one of us go and see what's going on? Because I'm really getting confused now. They're not answering my calls.
Do you want me to go ask? I'll go ask them.
How about you? You just do this.
Just answer questions. They're not here for me, Joe.
See, I want to run out there and abuse them. You have to go out there and abuse them.
I'll
You're going to be
abuse
too
them as
polite.
nicely as I can.
Oh, see, all right. Howard, I answer this question
All right.
if it's sufficient while you go.
Okay.
Let's see. If it's not a good question, though, then it's not going to work. Here we go. This is a good one. I can handle this one without you. All right. He's going to get some guests here, folks, because Mindy and John are too cool for the podcast today. If you had to be stuck on a desert island, asks Derek Rains, with one member of the Brady Bunch, who would you choose? That's Derek from Mountaintop. Wow, I'm glad no one's here to judge me. Now, it all depends on a lot of things. How old am I? How old are they? I mean, I'd like to be stuck on a desert island with Marcia, but not Marcia then. She's underaged. The mom, she seemed like a nice person. Alice. Who's the butcher? The butcher seemed like a nice guy. Sam, Fred. I don't know, but it would definitely be one of the ladies. I don't know. Does that make me a bad person? Now remember, I'm stranded there, so my wife's out of the picture. If I'm on a desert island the rest of my life, I'm going to pick, if she's older, I'm going to go with Marcia, or I'm going to go with Alice.
Nowhere to be found.
They're just not even there. Yeah. Folks, something happened. They're missing now from the newsroom.
And I'm also switching to the other side.
All right, perfect. So now we're not like
I don't want to be
two
awkward.
people on the same. All right, this is good.
I've done as much as I can sitting there.
You know what? I think you're right. This is the best podcast
Not that
ever.
I don't love you.
No, and not that we're in any way like awkward, homophobic or anything.
Much better.
Yeah, this is it. Now we're looking at you eye to eye.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
This is a tough one to answer. So Derek wants to know if you had to be stranded on a desert island for the rest of your life with one member of the Brady Bunch, who would it be?
Does Alice count?
I brought her up. I think she's now built into this. I think if you're stranded there for the rest of your life, our wives are out of the picture.
I mean, I guess it. How
is
you'd like to take advantage of the situation? I pick Alice because I feel like she could help do a lot of things to help keep us alive. And also, her
Because she
boyfriend,
can cook.
her boyfriend's a butcher.
I
so you know she
mentioned
can,
him,
so
Sam.
you know,
Sam
the butcher.
He's
she
not
could-
there though.
But she's. I'm sure she learned some skills from him.
what,
Assuming
were
there's
you gonna
animals, there's
butcher a
animals
wild
on the-
hog?
Yeah, sure.
See, now I'm saying this as a red-blooded American male. If I'm not going to hang on an island for the rest of my life with Greg.
I mean,
I'm
if
gonna want
not
Marcia.
Alice, it's Marcia.
What about the mom?
It's Marcia.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's going to be Marcia.
Really?
Maybe
And
Mrs.
also,
Brady.
are they underaged? I want them now. I'm not going to be on a desert island with a 16-year-old
Right.
girl. So if now she's our age,
Right.
my age at least.
Yeah.
So if it was then, even the mom, I'll take. She seems like a nice
Sure.
woman. Yeah. And then Alice. But if it's not underage, I'll take anybody but Cindy. She seemed like a whiner.
You've been complaining the whole time.
She been complaining.
Like I'm swimming for it. I'll be back with help.
So, folks, just so you understand what's happening now, in the newsroom,
I don't even see them in there.
something's going on. So you're listening to a podcast that something major has happened. Mindy's gone. John's gone. Was Nikki there?
No,
No.
nobody.
I wonder if I was supposed to be at a meeting or
There are
something.
people there.
Where would they?
I don't have a meeting.
And they reject phone calls and texts. Something is so weird, but we're already a good 20 minutes into this thing, 30. So let's keep
Yeah.
going. We'll finish it. I think it's
All right.
I think it's the best podcast ever.
That's what it's going to be called, by the
Best-
way. Best episode ever episode. Keep an eye out, folks, and make sure you tell everyone to
Tell
download it,
everyone.
so I can rub it in all their faces. My episode was the best episode ever.
And look, no one's offended. No one's offended. All right, what do you got?
Hey, it's Mike from Hanover.
Mike from Hanover. Is he didn't send money.
So,
all right.
hey, we're learning about everyone today. You learned a little about me.
Your history.
We're going to learn a little bit about Mike from Hanover.
I love it. Here we go.
He fulfills and packs orders at his job, and he was wondering why the large boxes on top of the pallets are called gaylords. Also, what is a pike in terms of roads and highways, like a turnpike?
Oh, this is good. Now, first
I'm
of
not
all,
familiar with like warehouse.
No, but the term Gaylord, I thought that was just a name.
Maybe it's just, I don't know. Is it?
I'm looking it up
named
right
after,
now.
Is it named after the person who maybe created that large box?
Have you ever heard that? The top
I've
package
never
is
heard
called
that,
Gaylord?
but I don't work I've never had a warehouse job, so I'm totally unfamiliar there.
Gaylord
Pike
meaning.
is just
All right, the name Gaylord of Norman French origin means joyful or high-spirited, derived from the old French word gallard, been used as a surname. So I see it as a name. I don't see
Yeah.
anything dealing with packaging here.
no.
So we have to maybe look deeper into this. No, so the Pike thing has me interested.
Pike. I mean, that was just always a term for like a roadway. I don't know that.
Turnpike.
Probably
Why is it a
European.
turnpike? Why?
Why a turnpike?
Yeah,
I don't
why
know.
isn't it just a pike?
Why not just pike?
I think I did this in Whamcam, and you can see how much I pay attention to my own pieces.
Well,
I
it's
forgot the
probably
answer. Why is it
50
called?
Whamcam
Oh,
too.
wait. Look who's strutting down the hall now.
Thank God the floundering can end. Sorry,
All right.
folks. This podcast is about to get
Yeah.
way
Oh,
worse.
hey, it was nice dealing with everyone. We'll see you later. No, John, wait a minute. So here he comes. Wait a minute.
We're
I asked
35 minutes in.
I asked my colleagues,
podcast
hey,
ever.
could you stop by 10 Friday? Yeah, sure, we'll see you there. Now, I call both of these guys, no answer. I text both of them, no answer. I
didn't
say
have my
10 o'clock on Friday, no response.
Are we live?
I say,
We've been for 31 minutes.
Are you
what's-
serious?
We've been doing what's called the best episode ever without you two.
See,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Best
we're out.
episode ever episode.
So now,
Learned all about my life. We had a nice
Yeah, we had a whole
one-on-one.
one-on-one.
There was crying. There was laughter.
tears,
I had it all.
laughter.
Wow.
missed
If
it.
anything, what you did, you two, is proved yourself dispensable.
Wow.
That's all you did.
well, it's Friday. Let's get out of here.
I know.
That's what I thought happened. I
Well,
said
that
the
made it
weather's
easy.
nice. They
So
bolted.
then-
They made a break for it.
I say, Shawn, maybe just go check where they are. He goes in there. There's nobody around. I'm calling you guys. I'm texting you guys. Not even visible.
And then we're getting nervous.
Now we're
You
getting
should have
nervous,
looked in the boss's office. We were in a,
Well,
in a
I saw
meeting.
the door was
I
closed.
figured something was
I saw
up.
the door was closed.
Am I in trouble?
Yeah.
So you guys called into the boss's
We got
office.
snagged, and she was looking for you too, and she
Yeah.
couldn't find you. So
Perfect. So this
Yes.
was, oh my God.
great. This kept you out of a meeting.
Best podcast ever.
Yes.
So what happened? Could you say it on,
Not really. We'll talk to you later.
is it
Yeah.
serious or no?
It's serious.
John, she's trying to bust me. Is it something I should be concerned about?
Yes.
Always be concerned. Anytime a boss is involved, get concerned.
I don't like the looks.
It could go bad.
Is this something with the smoke bomb?
No, and that's actually that's what I thought it was going to be.
we totally thought it was the smoke bomb. It had nothing to do with
Had
that.
nothing to
Mindy,
do with
you're
that.
We've
up.
answered enough, so
Okay.
yeah, you guys
All
are
right.
up.
I feel like I've missed out on
First
a
of
lot.
all, did you guys ever hear the term Gaylord for a box on top of other boxes in packaging?
Mike from
No.
Hanover said he fulfills and
He works in a
packages
warehouse.
and stuff, and he says the box on top of a pallet's called a Gaylord, and I don't know.
I did
Said
not know
Gaylord, I
that.
only know as a name, and we
I've
looked it up.
never-
and
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I don't know much about the warehouse
Okay.
side of things.
Here we go, Mindy.
Is it possible that any of these things can be a good experience? We've got a webinar, a luncheon,
No.
a workshop,
Nope.
your thoughts,
Nope.
Jason Wolf.
He's one of our own. Okay.
Is
He's
that
a-
our Jason?
Yeah.
He's a coworker.
Now remember, so
Can
included
any of
in
these
our
things
brown
be
bag could
considered good?
Yeah, these could be from our colleagues too. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
one. All right, go through them again and
So-
let's be honest.
Webinar.
No,
No.
that's impossible.
Well, I bet Shawn likes those.
It depends
That's
on
your
what the-
business.
It depends on what the subject is, I guess.
Maybe if it was with Marcia.
Maybe.
See, you missed
Yeah,
the previous
it. Yeah, you guys
question.
should have been here. Yeah, let's start
Is she
doing
an
that.
ex-girlfriend
We're gonna
or
start-
what?
yeah, maybe.
Maybe you'll
We're
never
gonna
know.
start referencing.
Do we have to
stuff
listen to the
talked-
podcast?
Yes,
might
you have to
actually
listen to the podcast.
So a luncheon.
To me, luncheons.
There is the food part. So no matter what it's
Yeah.
about, you at least get the food.
To me, that's like my wife's kind of thing. I don't like luncheons.
Well, we invited you to one the other day, and you decided not to come.
I'll say this: I don't like anything that's centered around eating.
Yeah.
Now, I
That's
think
a
of a
policy
luncheon
of mine.
as something that's like an organized event, whether
Okay.
it's a work thing or like some, business thing or
Yeah, it
something
always
like
has
that.
some type of business discussion implication.
Yeah.
There's an ulterior motive to the food. There's something
Yes,
else.
That there's
you're
something
right.
else.
Food is almost like a smoke screen. They're trying to give you something
Get them
else.
there with the food.
You will get them. What's the third one?
So the next one is workshop.
The workshop, definitely no. Workshops are the worst thing human beings have ever invented.
Well, like Shawn says, it depends on the. I mean, what if like one time I went to a birding workshop, and
I hope she's trying to be funny.
And I got to learn more about migratory birds.
Is she being funny now?
No,
I don't think so.
I did. I went to a birding workshop.
If you're choosing to go
If it's
to any of
something
these
you're
things because
interested-
it's something you're interested in is one thing. If you have to go to those things, I'm sure none of them would.
I'm
going
to put that at the okay. So if the coronavirus was somehow man created in a Chinese lab, undocumented, we don't have the facts yet, then that is the worst thing humans have done. But workshops are second, especially a bird workshop.
Close second workshop.
Especially a bird workshop.
I think that when you hear those words, if you work in corporate America at all, you cringe at all of that.
Yeah, come on.
Because if you're in a corporate office, which we are part of corporate America, we're owned by a big company, and then you get an email about a workshop or a webinar or something, you immediately curl up and like, and I've been on some that are all right. They can be a little interesting, some here and there.
They can be helpful.
But your immediate reaction is like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, and it's, sometimes they're during a time in your day where it might be you're the most busiest, but you have to be at this thing.
Almost
and the whole time you're
always.
thinking about now I have to catch up on the 2 hours of stuff that it's
Yeah.
I'm going to put wedding on that list too, but that's fine.
Well, that's you.
your own or a guest.
Any, even my own.
Even your own. I'm surprised you went to your own.
I'm surprised I went to my own wedding too.
Oh, we talked about that too. We talked about my
really?
wedding and everything.
Wow, they covered a lot of
we missed
space.
Yeah.
Did you guys know there's a hospital in
don't tell
Susquehanna?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I've been there.
He said there's a manger on the bottom floor. 'Cause
Really?
It's so old, yeah.
A manger.
A manger, just like that's where they.
Yeah,
get
it says,
That's where they
it
give
says Jesus slept here.
Oh, wow. That's
All right.
crazy.
Here's one
All right.
from Don in Wilkes-Barre. Why are some roads very curvy? Why couldn't they make them without curves? Don, if you want roads without curves, Mindy has somewhere she'd
Yeah.
love to
If
take
you
you.
would like to come to Iowa,
Oh wait, that's a good point.
and yes, they
so-
are straight as the day is
No
long.
reason for a curve in Iowa.
They just go straight. You just keep going. You end up in Nebraska.
And go and go and go and don't have to turn.
Exactly.
I mean, the
watch-
reality is, Don,
Don, watch what you ask for because you don't want that.
Cornfields and straight gravel roads.
And then when you get to that four corner, and could be a left turn, maybe a right turn. Guess what?
What?
It's more straight.
It is more
It's
straight.
then more straight.
Yep.
And there's a Walmart maybe 30 miles down the road.
Well, what about the Dollar General in Simpson?
And maybe the Dollar General you're going to run into. And maybe if you're lucky, a John Deere factory.
They have a lot of those too.
Yeah. We need
And
curves.
it is fascinating when you go and look at a map of the Midwest because it really is.
It is a grid pattern.
Just grids of roads, and that's just how it is.
It is
Yeah,
how
so
it
if you
is.
have curves, it means you have running water, you have mountains, you have obstacles,
You have
cities,
topography.
you have topography of cities, you have people, you have interesting things. That's why we have curves.
There's
Private
interesting
property.
things in Iowa too, right?
There are lots of interesting things in Iowa. We have
like your bird
a couple of
workshop.
trees.
How about that bird work? Where is the bird workshop? Where was that?
That was at Keystone College.
oh,
was
that's
really
nice.
good.
No, that is nice.
We did a whole tour, and we saw different birds.
So you signed up for that?
I did. My whole family
Did
did
you
it.
learn anything about my favorite bird, the tufted titmouse? Or
No, I
That
didn't
was
see
not
one of
there.
those.
Okay.
I didn't see those.
Crow?
You know, sorry.
We're
I'm just going to get back to
we're
this.
talking
Oh.
ornithology.
Interrupt the
Leave
bird-
us
the
alone.
bird talk.
It is fascinating when you see, like in Florida, when they're building roads and stuff like that, that they're just
Even Florida, very boring.
putting in some
Straight.
sand and building. Because anytime you go in Florida, they're building a new road because all of Florida is growing and growing and growing. And then you think of here to put in an interstate and how much work and what you have to go around and all that. And then you've got winter to maintain it, water running off mountains to control and all that kind of stuff. So it's a big difference.
And you're working against time too, and I know everybody knows this, but where I live, and I'm on my way to Merle-Sarnoski Park, I have to go around this big curve to get to the park, and guess what it curves around in the road? A cemetery. So the cemetery was there first, and now you have to build a road. You can't
You can't
to the
just dig up the
cemetery, so now,
bodies?
yeah, you
Gotta
can't
go
just
around
dig up the body.
I'm sure it's been done.
Maybe after time, not enough time has passed. yet.
Oh, okay.
I could see maybe in 300-400 years they'll just go. Let's go right through.
Well,
this.
and I think for some interstates they probably have.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just get rid of
I
it,
never
move
thought
the
of that,
bodies.
yeah.
I bet you for some big projects.
Eminent domain, right?
Yeah.
So.
But in Iowa, though, it is very easy to learn how to drive. I remember thinking that when I was teaching
Oh,
my
yeah.
kids
So
how to
there's
drive
more
here.
things you don't
Oh,
think
yeah,
about.
that's a good
It
point.
was scary. It was like all these curves and hills and blah, blah, blah. In Iowa, it was so easy to learn how to drive.
That's why you could drive at 14.
That's right.
Yeah.
I drove at 14.
Were there a lot of cemeteries in Iowa? I don't picture that.
They do have a lot of cemeteries, yes.
Because you know what you don't see.
They're not as old, though.
Not as old.
Usually, no. We don't have like the many 1700s and things like that.
In Florida, not a lot of cemeteries.
No.
Because the water table's
Water
so
table.
high. and-
Yeah.
Memorial gardens and
Yeah.
memorial parks.
Do
and
they
stuff
have to like
that.
bury people on
And
top
you
of
You
each
see
other?
buildings like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no basements, no cemeteries.
Yeah.
You guys going to get cremated or are you going to be buried? Or you don't want to talk
I
about
want to
that?
be cremated and put in a tree. Like, like how they do that. They
What
put
about-
you in like a pot with
Yeah,
a
I've
tree,
seen that. And then, you're.
And then you become the tree.
What
How
about if you
cool
were
is
mixed
that?
with
Deep.
What about if you were mixed with bird seed and then delivered at like a workshop for birds? Mixed in
But then you turn into birdie doo doo.
Right.
Right,
So?
and then that,
Yeah,
and
and
then
then
that seed
And that
grows
becomes,
into
a, that becomes a
So,
tree.
yeah.
Okay, that works.
Sean, I hate to tell them this, but we have to end this
We're at
already.
40. We're at 41 minutes.
All
We're
right,
good.
so we'll let them go. But you guys are newbies.
Who's up?
It's you.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sean's up.
Already answered so
See how this thing is
Do you
overflowing?
like the idea of becoming a tree, John? Is that something
Yeah.
on your
I mean,
radar?
that's-
I didn't
I
even
mean,
think
does it
about getting
matter?
cremated or
No?
anything. I haven't thought of that yet. I don't know if it
Why
matters.
is
human
Joe
nature-
thinking of that already?
Because here's why, Sean. Here's what goes on in everybody's head. I mean, John, death is something that happens to other people.
Yeah.
That's what
True.
everybody really thinks.
that is true.
You know,
I
it's
think,
it's our way of coping. I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because why would you want to dwell on it?
Yeah.
It's never going to happen to you. It's other people.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
The
just go on.
Pope just passed away recently.
Why'd you have to bring that up?
I was just thinking of people who died that you
Yeah.
just think of.
But
But
it's
then
never gonna
I
happen to
just
you.
got off the phone with a 103-year-old World War II veteran
Yeah.
who walks 140 miles a month.
You're kidding.
And we're going out for a walk with him on Tuesday
He really
on
does
the
100
Pennsylvania Road.
A what now?
140 miles he walked in March.
Oh,
Just
does he
every
do that?
day he goes for a walk.
Is that right?
So what's 140 divided by 30? I can't do the math that fast.
Well, it's like
Almost 50.
Yeah, that's like
Four some miles a day.
Yeah,
almost
so
five.
it's like 5
That's
miles.
4 or 5 miles a day.
amazing. Wow.
Yeah. So we're
All
going.
weather? Did he say he goes? He's
If
a-
it was bad weather in March, then he would do it around the
double.
house,
Oh, he's walking around.
walking around the house.
Wow.
So we're going for a walk with him. But that just shows he's not thinking about death.
Yeah.
He's living life to the fullest.
So yeah.
Yeah,
It's
we
a great
can't-
day to be alive.
We can't dwell on death.
Nope.
Joe.
Well, because it's not going to happen to any of us.
Not
Exactly.
to any of us.
That
So if
happens
you're
to other
listening
people.
to this when it drops tomorrow is when you're going to see that story. Well, are you shooting it? Tuesday?
Shooting it tomorrow, it runs Wednesday.
Runs Wednesday. All right.
I'm going to see that story
Wednesday.
unless I'm dead.
So this might be a good one to end on after the death talk. This is from Suzanne. She asks, so do you call it a sub or a hoagie?
Oh, that's
I grew up with that glorious sandwich called a hoagie, a 6 or 12-inch sandwich on a semi-hard roll with lunch meat, lettuce, tomato, mayo, no oil to sog up the bun, though. But some call it a sub. I think a sub is the hot or warm variety, like meatball sub
No.
or chicken parm sub. What is your opinion?
We're all Northeasters except for her, so I'm curious as to.
Well, his vernacular is different too.
yeah, but what happened? Would anyone ever say hoagie in Iowa? No.
No, they would say sub.
They would say
and that
sub.
goes cold or hot. Yeah.
So
sub.
the word hoagie, you never heard in your life.
I don't know about that, but I didn't use it for
Isn't
sure.
that something?
Yeah.
A grinder, never.
I was
No,
gonna say
never-
grinder,
I never heard grinder.
Grinder.
Western Pennsylvania, it's almost all sub. That
Even
people say
Western PA
Yeah,
sub.
Western PA. Where I grew up, hogie is a very specific sandwich.
What is
It's
it?
ham
What?
and cheese with a sauce on a smaller bun. Is a
Really?
hoagie, and that is it. Everything else is a sub.
So I wonder how localized it is because I never said sub in my life. It was always hoagie.
Hoagie. I remember what in school we used to have. It was hoagie sale.
Hoagie sale. Everything
So
is
it's
hoagie.
We had
hoagie,
hoagie sales, but it was that
Specific
specific
hoagies,
hoagie,
yeah.
or there was a sub.
This was like Italian or turkey, I think, but it was all hoagie.
Like I played in a sub tournament every week in basketball in the summer, and you'd win a sub if you
Oh,
won
wow.
the tournament.
So
Yeah, I
was
didn't hear
Was
hoagie
hoagie
or
derived
grinder.
from, is it like Polish ancestry? Are they using hoagies in
Philly
Europe?
uses hoagie.
Yeah.
So
but this area is very deep in the culture, so
Yeah.
I wonder if it's an Eastern European thing.
I don't know.
Sean's on it. We're not going to
Philly
leave this
uses-
podcast.
Philly uses hoogie.
Hoagie. No, grinder. Hoagie?
Hoogie.
but big, like
Hugie.
Wawa is
Hugie.
big on hoagies.
I love
Yeah.
hoogies.
All right. So Sean's getting the answer, and then I have a personal question to ask him because we started the podcast just you and I. Let's pretend they're not even here, or we end it.
Can I just add in one little factoid?
Yeah.
When I moved to Maine, they don't have hoagies or grinders or
What do
subs.
they have?
They call them Italians.
Are
Even
you
if it's not
serious?
an
Even if
Italian
it's not an
sub?
Italian. I was so confused. I'm like, do they only eat Italian sandwiches here? But no, it's just
Well, then
called
what do
an
they call
Italian.
Italians?
I don't know why.
No, what do they call Italians? Like if there's
A
an
sandwich.
Italian in
Oh, you mean like the
like
ethnicity?
An Italian
if there's
Italian.
An Italian person sitting at a bench in
Oh,
front
they
of an
call
Italian.
them an Italian, yeah.
But it gets confusing.
They
Then.
call them a hoagie.
Well, that's
what I thought she said.
that's like if you go to the South and everything's a Coke.
Right.
Even if
Right.
it's
So
a 7-Up or a
confusing.
Sprite, it's still a Coke
still
in the
a Coke.
South.
All right, Sean has the answer.
One forgot about Hero. Hero.
Oh, we did forget
Forgot about
Hero,
Hero. But,
yeah.
so this says that the origin, the name hoagie, is thought to have originated with Italian immigrants working at the Hog Island shipyard in Philadelphia during World War One, where they would make sandwiches on long rolls.
That makes sense. So it's a Philly
Typically,
thing.
it's what you would think of as an Italian sub because it usually had like salami, capicola, things
And that
like
would
that.
explain it being up here too, like
Yeah.
just an Eastern
Right.
Pennsylvania thing.
But I think it just any kind of sandwich on a long roll just sort of
Became a
became
hoagie.
Yeah, but it's usually like an Italian, like crusty Italian roll and various meats and cheeses and things. But Philly,
Like sometimes you go in the store and it would actually be submarine. It would say on it,
yeah.
like for the hoagie,
Yep.
it would have the full word of a submarine. Ham and cheese submarine,
Yeah.
turkey and cheese submarine. Yeah.
See, folks, none of this would happen without you. So please keep the questions coming. The more bizarre, the better. But we give all sorts of topics covered here. So brownbag at wnep.com. We thank you for all the comments. And Sean, we started this. We're going to end this. Forget these two are here.
okay, we'll just.
But first, could
should I
you
go over there so I can stare lovingly in your eyes?
But just so
can
you
do it
know,
from right there.
the news director's waiting for you.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What about me?
Friday.
Not
I think,
you.
I think you're off the hook.
One last thing. Could you do the impression of the kid with the bee in his nose? They won't understand that.
I have a beer by dose.
See ya.
Curiosity. What are you so curious about? Everything, Mr. Curiosity.